Hello, my fellow readers. My name is Greg, and this is Ghost Readers in the Sky. Today is a Tuesday. It's a Tag Tuesday, and I am doing the tag Hurricanes, Tornadoes, and Blizzards. Oh my. This is an original tag about the weather, and it's created by Literary Michelle. So thank you, Michelle, for creating this tag. Question number 1, there are 8 prompts here. How do you think an extreme weather event such as a hurricane, tornado, or blizzard impacts the plot of a book? I think it works best when that major event is either right at the beginning, which sets up the action for the book, or it comes right at the end as the action that the reader's being drawn toward. There are certainly ways you can put these events in the middle of a plot, in the middle of a book, in the middle of a short story. But I think that some of the more effective ways to do it are to make it either the opening episode or the closing event that needs to be overcome. But if it fits the plot, it's fine, as long as it's not extraneous. Number 2, name a book you've enjoyed where some type of natural disaster or storm played a role in the story. Man, I think about a lot of different things. I think about the Tony Hillerman books set on the Navajo reservation and how it is so dry in that desert, but when the rains come, they tend to come in huge torrents and cause flash flooding, and all kinds of havoc is wreaked. And that happens in a number of Tony Hillerman's Navajo novels. I think about Kidnapped, where David Balfour and the crew, just about the time they think they're safe, they get caught in a storm, shipwrecked. I also think about Jack London, all of his Klondike novels and stories, Call of the Wild, White Fang, Burning Daylight, White Silence. All of these have blizzards of one sort or another that have to be overcome, and if not that, at least extreme cold. Number 3, have you ever experienced a weather event that had a lasting impact on you or was a memorable time in your life? Yeah, we called it the snowpocalypse of 2017. Here in the place where I live, we had a record snowfall in one day of 15 inches in one day. Over the course of the winter, we had almost 40 inches, both of which set records, like 100-year records. We hadn't had that much snow since 1985. Before that, it was 1909. It was a lot of snow, and it stayed cold, and the snow didn't melt. So everyone's driveway was blocked. All the streets were blocked. They got a lot of the main streets taken care of fairly quickly, but the side streets, there just weren't enough snowplows and other equipment to take care of that. So we just stayed home for the most part for weeks. Kind of found ways to shovel out a little bit if you could get out to a main road, you could get to town and get groceries or whatever you needed, but it was really tough. Number 4, what's your favorite type of book to curl up with while a storm is raging outside? A thriller, a romance, a memoir? Oh, when a storm's going on, I can't read anything. I do not like storms. I can deal with the aftermath of a storm. I've even been, particularly in heavy snowstorms, I have been sometimes on the road driving, and I can deal with it, but if I'm home, I'm just anxious. I just want to curl up in a ball, maybe under a table, and just hide while the storm is raging outside, especially when there's wind. There's something about wind that I do not like. Number 5, name a book character you've enjoyed who had to overcome or endure a weather-related hardship. The first one I think about is Jack London's short story, To Build a Fire, where not only has there been a lot of snow, but it's 50 degrees below zero. And so the man, who is unnamed, and the dog, who is unnamed, have to get through this snow and this cold. They both have to survive. If you haven't read the story, you should. If you have read the story, you know what happens. I'm not going to give it away. Number 6, if you were told to evacuate your home, which 3 books are in your go bag and why? Isn't this why we have e-readers and audiobooks? Isn't this why we have things stored on various devices so that we don't have to just choose 3 physical books? I would rather have my entire audio library and my entire e-reader library, which can all be on one device, on one phone, on one Kindle or Kindle-ish device. Because I don't know that I could choose just 3. And I don't know that any of the books that I own, even the ones that I am most happy to have in my collection, are worth the space if it's time to evacuate. I think there are probably other things that have more value to me and my loved ones than books. Sacrilege in some circles, I understand, but that's where I am. Put it all in the cloud, and then and if we're out of electricity, it really doesn't matter how many books you have. Got no speakers, ain't got no headphones, ain't got no records to play. Number 7, if you were writing a novel and had to use one of the following, hurricane, blizzard, tornado, or wildfire in the story, which would you choose and why? If I were trying to write a story, I'd probably write a story about a blizzard, just because I've been in more blizzards. I have not been in a tornado or a hurricane. I have been as close to wildfire as I ever want to get. But I've been through a lot of blizzards, and I have some story ideas that I could draw on. And there are so many great, especially openings. Somebody's driving down this deserted road. It's a heavy snowstorm. You hear a thud. All kinds of things can happen. Or somebody gets trapped with people who they think are their friends, and somebody gets murdered, and so you have kind of a locked door mystery because the snow prevented anyone from going out or coming in. I think blizzards. Number 8, is there a book on your current TBR that features some type of inclement weather or natural disaster? You know, a book that I've been thinking about doing a reread of is Norman Maclean's Young Men and Fire. I have been out to that site in Montana where the firefighters were killed as they were fighting fires and trying to just doing their jobs. And the site itself is quite eerie, and you look at how steep the banks were that these firefighters were trying to work on, and you just feel I just felt the panic that those firefighters must have felt in those last moments. I don't know how you would be calm. Maybe they did better than I would. But Norman Maclean's, it's a nonfiction piece. It's fairly short. It's on my, certainly as a potential to be read or actually to be reread. And that's it. There's a tag other people prompt. As always, if you've heard this and you think, oh, there's some interesting things, and I have a book about hurricanes that I'd really like to share with everybody, and I'm going to do this tag and share this reading experience or whatever. You're tagged. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in today. Thanks to everybody who's subscribed and who likes the video and who adds comments and just generally enjoys hanging out with me here in this particular little corner of BookTube. My name is Greg, and this is Ghost Readers in the Sky.